it's really not that difficult of a concept to grasp. Pete explains it perfectly.
I want everyday life to be better.
That's what they want too.
You get up in the morning, but importantly, all the controversies are over what that's like. I want you to be able to get up in the morning, and the first thing you do is you commute to work, and by the way, if you're on EV, I want that to be affordable for you, or if you're on public transit, not to get back into the subway situation, but I want you to have good public transit to get to where you're going, and then when you get to that job, I want you to be paid well, and if you're about to have a kid, I want you to know that you're going to have parental leave when you have that kid, and if you don't want to have a kid, I want you to have the right to choose whether to have a kid, which means access to birth control and abortion, and those things that give you the freedom to decide on that, and if you already have a kid, when you pick them up at school, I want that school to be good, not having its funding slashed while they set fire to the Department of Education. And then when you get home, I want you to be in a neighborhood that is safe and where you can breathe the air, because we didn't let them get rid of the Clean Air Act. And you don't have to think for one moment about whether the air you breathe or the water you drink is clean and clear, which actually takes a lot, because it means the government has to constrain those actors that would make you unfree by polluting the air and polluting the water. And then when you go to bed, I want you to know that your family's going to be fine, even if it's family like mine, despite there being some Supreme Court justice who wants to obliterate your family because it doesn't match his interpretation of his religion. That's the life I want everybody to be able to live.
Yeah, I think
we can deliver that.
That's what it all boils down to right there. I think that if you being somebody on the left spoke to somebody on the right, and you took politics out of the conversation and you just asked that person what they wanted out of life for them and their family, I think what you would find is their answers and your answers would be very similar. I want a safe place to raise my family. I want to be able to be paid an honest wage. I want to be able to be safe in my community. I want to be able to be safe in my commute to work and be safe in my place of work, and generally just be left alone, right? Yeah, they want that too, as that comedian / podcast host pointed out. The problem is these days only want it for them, not for everybody. We want it for everybody. We want you to be safe and us to be safe. We want you to have your kids to have a good education and our kids to have a good education. We want your family to be covered medically and our family to be covered medically. We want your kids to be able to afford to go to college, just like we want our kids to be able to afford to go to college. We want you to have clean air and water, just like we want clean air and water. The problem is, the other side, the far right, they don't want that safe community and fair pay and all of that stuff for everybody. They only want it for them. If you don't look like them, if you don't think like them, if you don't love like them, if you don't do everything if you don't worship or believe like them, they don't want those things for you. They want it for them. And that's the part that host doesn't grasp. They don't want it for everybody. Pete wants it for everybody.